What happens in Vietnam will leave you extremely shocked. Join us and discover 16 bizarre facts that only exist in Vietnam. Let's go. Number 16. It's not actually called Vietnam. Vietnam is widely recognized by its English name as Vietnam, but this is not the country's correct name. The country's official name, both for the Vietnamese government and the United Nations, is Vietnam, written as a single word. The name dates back to the 16th century when it first appeared in a poem. However, the history of the name begins much earlier. In the 2nd century BC, the territory we now know as Vietnam was called Nam Viet, or South Vietnam. For centuries, this region was ruled by several dynasties, which included parts of southern China and northern Vietnam. And over time, the area was known by different names, such as Dai Nam and Dong Phap. It was not until 1945, with the end of the imperial dynasty, that the country officially adopted the name Vietnam, which it has retained to this day. Number 15. Da Nang Bridge. One of the most impressive structures in Vietnam is the Da Nang Bridge, also known as the Dragon Bridge. Located in the city of Da Nang, it is not only a link between the two parts of the city, but also a symbol of Vietnam's cultural wealth and technological innovation. The structure, which spans the Han River, is notable for its futuristic design, with the shape of a dragon symbolizing strength and protection. At night, the bridge transforms into a true tourist attraction, with bright lights and special effects that make it breathe fire at certain times, providing a dazzling spectacle for visitors. Number 14. Vietnamese women. Vietnamese women are known worldwide for their unique beauty, which combines delicate features with an unmistakable natural grace. In many parts of Vietnam, you can see the elegance of their traditional clothing, such as the áo dai, a long, fitted dress that highlights the female figure in a sophisticated way. Vietnamese beauty is also evidenced by their serene and gentle appearance, something that is reflected in their posture and the way they present themselves in everyday life. More than just their appearance, Vietnamese women are admired for their strength and determination. They play vital roles in society, whether as family caregivers, businesswomen, or activists, and their contributions to the country are increasingly recognized in all areas. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up with the biggest curiosities of our world every day, but for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. Number 13. McDonald's failure in Vietnam. Vietnam, famous for its vibrant street food scene, has been a tough place for big fast food chains. When McDonald's opened its first restaurant in Ho Chi Minh City in 2014, there was a lot of excitement. However, things didn't go as planned. At first, lines were huge, and more than 400,000 customers were served in the first month. But the excitement soon waned. McDonald's failed to establish itself as a staple in the country, and today there are fewer than 20 locations in the whole of Vietnam, a number far below what would be expected in a country with over 100 million people. The main reason for this failure is the superiority of Vietnamese street food, which is delicious, fresh, and available at affordable prices on almost every corner. Vietnamese people prefer traditional dishes, such as pho and banh mi, which are prepared fresh and delivered directly to the customer's hands. Furthermore, McDonald's failed to adapt its menu to local cuisine, making it an outsider in a market that was already saturated with much tastier and more authentic options. Number 12. Kick volleyball. In Vietnam, one of the most popular sports is not football, as you might expect, but rather sepak takraw, popularly known as volleyball football. This game involves a wicker ball, and the only way to connect with it is using your feet, knees, or head, and is very similar to football, but with a unique skill. Although its origins are disputed, many believe that the sport began in Thailand in the 18th century. In Vietnam, however, it has become a true national passion, with high-level championships both locally and internationally. The country excels in competitions, frequently winning titles in the Asian arena. Interestingly, despite its popularity, sepak takraw has yet to secure a place in the Olympics. The expectation, however, is that with increased visibility, it may in the future be part of this prestigious sporting event. Every year, competitions in the sport dominate the SEA Games, where Vietnam has proven to be a formidable competitor. Will sepak takraw one day conquer the Olympic Games? Number 11. Forced marriage and ethnic communities. Although Vietnam is largely a modern and dynamic country, there are still areas where archaic and disturbing practices persist, such as forced marriage. In some ethnic communities in northern Vietnam, such as the Thai and Hmong groups, marital abduction remains a reality. In these cases, young women are abducted by men who want to marry them, often without their consent. In some cases, families are compensated with money or livestock in exchange for giving up their daughters for arranged marriages. This phenomenon is often perpetuated by traditional culture and a lack of resources or education in rural areas, where women still have little say in their own lives. Despite laws and government efforts to combat this practice, there are still cases where tradition trumps modernity, and forced marriage remains a grim reality for many young women. Number 10. Snake wine is incredibly popular. In Vietnam, a peculiar drink challenges tourists and locals alike: snake wine. This alcoholic beverage, not for the faint of heart, involves submerging an entire venomous snake in alcohol, where it remains for months, releasing its chemical compounds into the liquid. Another method used is to extract the blood and bile of live snakes, mixing them with rice wine or another type of alcohol. The drink is seen as a solution to various ailments, with the Vietnamese believing it has medicinal properties, being used as an aphrodisiac and to increase virility. Although snake wine has its roots in China, it was in Vietnam that it gained massive popularity. However, a warning: drinking snake wine can be dangerous. Despite the belief in its benefits, indirect poisoning caused by snake toxins can affect the circulatory system and, in rare cases, even cause death. Even so, the drink continues to be consumed, and it is impossible to find it outside the country since its export is prohibited. If you ever visit Vietnam, if you're looking for an extreme experience, snake wine will certainly be available, but drink at your own risk. Number 9. Motorcycles are the preferred means of transportation. If you've watched any movies about the Vietnam War, or the War of Resistance against America, as it's called in Vietnam, you've undoubtedly seen a lot of people on motorcycles. The reason for this is simple. Motorcycles are the #1 mode of transportation in the country. There are an estimated 45 million registered motorcycles in the country, an impressive number considering that Vietnam has a population of around 98 million people, with an average of over 3 million motorcycles sold annually. The country leads the way when it comes to the adoption of this form of transportation. This is no coincidence. Motorcycles are affordable, fast, and efficient, and are more agile than cars, especially in urban areas with heavy traffic. Motorcycles dominate the streets, with a wide variety of models ranging from the most basic, inexpensive models to luxury models that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Honda is the most popular brand in Vietnam, holding a large share of the market. However, the situation for motorcycles in Vietnam is about to change. In 2017, the government announced an ambitious plan to ban all motorcycles in Hanoi by 2030, with the aim of reducing pollution and improving public transport infrastructure. This is just one of many plans the Vietnamese government has to transform mobility in the country. Number 8. The largest cave in the world. Did you know that Vietnam is home to the largest cave in the world? Hang Son Dome, located in Quang Binh province, is a natural formation so large that at some points it is possible to fly a large plane inside it. Discovered in 1991, but only officially explored in 2009 by British cavers, this cave is impressive in size. At over 5 kilometers long and with walls that reach up to 200 meters high, Hang Son Dome defies imagination. Its entrance is wide enough that even a Boeing 747 could fly through without clipping its wings. Inside the cave, visitors can come across stalagmites that are up to 70 meters high, as well as a unique ecosystem that includes a tropical forest and even a small river that runs through it. The cave is considered a paradise for cavers and adventurers visiting Vietnam, and is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country. It is no wonder that many consider Hang Son Dong to be one of the most extraordinary natural wonders on the planet. Number 7. Banh Mi sandwich. When it comes to street food in Vietnam, one dish stands out: the banh mi. This unique sandwich combines Vietnamese culinary tradition with French influences, resulting in a true explosion of flavors. Banh mi originally emerged during the French colonial period in the 19th century, when Vietnam was part of French Indochina. The recipe combines a crispy baguette with traditional fillings such as grilled meats, pork sausages, cucumber, pickled carrots and daikon, fresh cilantro and mayonnaise, all combined with chili peppers for a spicy kick. The sandwich became so popular that after the Vietnam War, it spread to other parts of the world, becoming a hit across cultures. In Vietnam, you can find banh mi on every street corner, and it is eaten by locals and tourists alike. Anthony Bourdain, in his famous series Parts Unknown, described it as a symphony in a sandwich, highlighting its incredible combination of flavors and textures. Number 6. The mysterious apparition in Nha Trang, 1966. In 1966, the Nha Trang military base located in Vietnam became the scene of one of the most intriguing UFO sightings of the war period. The night was quiet, with no sign of nearby combat. The American soldiers, known as GIs, had gathered to watch an outdoor movie. Nearby, 2 sky raiders were warming up their engines for a night mission, while bulldozers and excavators worked on the surrounding hills. In the harbor, an oil tanker sat docked, adding to the usual scene of a wartime military base. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in the northern sky, illuminating the area in an unexpected way. At first, the soldiers thought it might be a simple flare, something common in military operations. However, the light began to move unpredictably, with sudden changes in speed and trajectory. It is estimated that it was about 7,600 meters above sea level. Without warning, the light slowed down abruptly and began a descent towards the base. As the object hovered near the ground, a startling phenomenon occurred. All electrical systems at the base were shut down, including the Sky Raider's engines, construction machinery, and auxiliary equipment. Silence fell over the base, broken only by the astonishment of the soldiers watching the event. After a few moments, the light shot upward at an astonishing speed, disappearing into the night sky. Number 5. Ho Chi Minh's embalmed body on display. In Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, lies the mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh, the country's first president. His embalmed body attracts visitors from all over the world and is one of the most significant tourist attractions. For many Vietnamese, the site is more than just a monument. It is a pilgrimage destination, honoring the leader who played a crucial role in Vietnam's independence. The process of displaying the body, however, is surrounded by rules and mysteries. Everyone who visits the mausoleum must keep moving, without stopping to take photos or reflect. In addition, the mausoleum is closed for a few months of the year, between September and December, for the maintenance of the body, which is taken to Russia every year. Number 4. Coffee culture. Vietnam's coffee tradition is one of the most fascinating in the world. Introduced by the French in the 19th century, coffee quickly became a part of Vietnamese culture. In Vietnam, coffee is not just a drink, but an experience that reflects the national identity. The famous Vietnamese coffee, prepared using the Phin filter method, is distinguished by the use of condensed milk, creating a sweet and full-bodied combination that has won the hearts of millions. In Hanoi, for example, egg coffee, café trung, is one of the most popular specialties, with its unmistakable flavor derived from mixing strong coffee with a sweet foam made from egg yolk and condensed milk. This preparation technique is a reflection of the creativity of the Vietnamese, transforming a simple coffee into a true social ritual. Number 3. Hoi An Ancient Town. Hoi An is one of Vietnam's most charming towns, and its unique architecture makes it a must-see destination. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Hoi An preserves over 1,300 historic structures, including ancient houses, pagodas, and temples, dating from the 15th to 19th centuries. The town reflects a fusion of cultural influences, including Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, and Cham, visible in its ornate rooftops and street layout. Strolling through Hoi An is like taking a trip back in time, where the past is kept alive in the local buildings and culture. Hoi An's famous lanterns light up its narrow streets during festivals, creating a magical scene that attracts tourists all year round. Hoi An's tailor shops are also famous for offering bespoke clothing, with unique designs that blend traditional and contemporary styles. Number 2. The Cu Chi Tunnels. The Cu Chi Tunnels, located around Ho Chi Minh City, are a historic landmark in Vietnam, reminding the world of the fierce battles fought during the Vietnam War. This extensive network of underground tunnels was built by the Viet Minh Guerrilla Army and the National Front for the Liberation of South Vietnam. With over 250 kilometers of interconnected tunnels, they served as hideouts, barracks, and military operations centers. A visit to the Cu Chi tunnels is an opportunity to understand the ingenuity and resilience of the Vietnamese people during the war. The tunnels were dug by hand with little room to move, which meant that soldiers lived in practically subhuman conditions. However, these tunnels allowed the Vietnamese to resist the military might of the United States, carrying out effective guerrilla warfare strategies. Today, the site serves as a memorial and museum, where visitors can enter the tunnels and see what life was like inside these underground structures. Number 1. The Dragon Bridge in Da Nang. The Dragon Bridge in Da Nang is one of Vietnam's greatest feats of modern engineering. With its striking dragon-shaped design, it is not only a gateway between the city's districts, but also an architectural masterpiece that represents Vietnam's growth and modernization. The bridge, which is the largest of its kind in the world, has the unique ability to breathe fire and water, creating a visual spectacle that attracts tourists and locals alike. Every weekend, the bridge becomes a popular attraction, especially when it hosts its fire and water display on Saturday and Sunday nights. This spectacle, which takes place at 9 p.m., draws thousands of people to watch water gush from the dragon's mouth and fire light up the sky. The Dragon Bridge is not only a symbol of Da Nang, but also of Vietnam's technological evolution, combining tradition and innovation in spectacular fashion. Now I want to know from you, which of these facts shocked you the most? Tell me below in the comments. Take advantage and click on this video that is now appearing on the screen because I separated it especially for you. Well, that's it, and until next time, Curious One.